Good morning, everyone. I'd like to get started. I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today. I'm John McClutchy, I'm president of JHM Group of Companies, and along with the Richmond Group, we're co-developers of this development, Crescent Crossings, along with the Bridgeport Housing Authority. This has been a unique experience for us in terms of the cooperation that we've received in this public-private partnership to bring this new housing to fruition. We've worked very closely with not only the Housing Authority, but the Residents Association of Marina Village, with the administration of the City of Bridgeport, with Mayor Finch and his staff, and with HUD, the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, the Department of Housing. All of these players played a significant part in putting this together. This, as you can see, will be the first 93 units. Directly after this, and shortly we'll be closing on the next 84 units. And this will begin the redevelopment of what was Father Panic Village. As we all know, a failed, older public housing project that was not done in a sustainable manner. It also becomes the initial home for residents of Marina Village to relocate from Marina Village, to provide them with new, affordable, quality housing. I'd like to have each of the groups that were involved in this with us come up and speak, and I'd like to first of all start with Mayor Finch. Mayor Finch has been a huge advocate of affordable housing. He's worked with us for the past 2+ years in helping us put together the program to begin the design and planning for this. He and his administration have taken their work and the credibility they have with the state and federal agencies and used that leverage to help us put together the financing that's necessary for this. Without that kind of credible support from the city, projects like this don't happen. And I'd like to thank Mayor Finch for everything he has done and ask him to come up and say a few words.
So excited to be here today because, you know, when you're mayor and a lot of things, you're working on a lot of projects across your desk, sometimes you think, well, that may never happen, but it's happened. And we're all excited to be here today because this is really high quality mixed housing that's going to be built right here, adding to the tax rolls in the city of Bridgeport. It's another great event for the city. We've had a long string of them over the last 8 years, showing that we're truly moving in the right direction, making Bridgeport better every day. Behind us is Crescent Crossing. You go for your discounts. I do that all the time. Behind us is Crescent Crossing, which is another tremendous project in the Park City that's creating jobs, working with organized labor. I see many of my brothers and sisters from organized labor here. Please give them a big round of applause. This project is going to add to our tax rolls. We all know that the tax issue in Bridgeport is very important. This is going to add to the tax rolls and relieve burdens. But part of what makes this project so important today is to think about the past of this site and the hurdles that we've had to overcome to get here today. Once it housed Father Panic Village, which was built to replace the shanties of the East Side factory workers, and it housed nearly 5,000 people on 46 acres. It was built around 1941, but in 1986, in our efforts to make it safe for folks, it was just too much. There was drug trafficking out of control in Father Panic, and the people living there did not have a very high quality lifestyle. You know, John said it was not sustainable. Well, the most important reason why it became unsustainable was because of crime and drugs. By the fall of 1994, there were workers on this site demolishing Father Panic and taking down the last 15 buildings. The land had been ready for development for more than a decade. However, it became involved in a large pay-to-pay corruption scheme, which is rearing its ugly head again today in Bridgeport. And I want to say that despite all of our efforts, despite our hard work, despite putting Bridgeport in the right direction. It will all stop if corruption returns to City Hall. Now we're moving in the right direction. Crescent Crossing is a great opportunity to see high-quality jobs and high-quality housing return to this troubled site. I couldn't be more proud of all of you here today that helped make this happen. With that, I'm honored to introduce the person who fights for us each and every day down in Washington, the great United States Senator Richard Blumenthal.
How about a big round of applause for Bill Finn, fought for Bridgeport, all the people of Bridgeport and Connecticut. This site has a lot of history. It is truly a storied site. And I can remember walking Father Panic Village and Marina Village, driving by it, my heart breaking, literally my gut wrenching at the obvious physical decline of these structures. Father Panic Village became a place that young people had to struggle to escape. Father Panic Village became a place where dreams and hopes were dead. Father Panic Village went into physical decline, along with Marina Village, well before it was demolished. Today, we are saying to the people of Bridgeport, we will keep faith with you. We are replacing Father Panic Village and Marina Village with housing that is not only sustainable, it has a great future in fostering and supporting the dreams and hopes of young people who will live here. This project is a triumph of more than bricks and mortar. It is a triumph of hopes and dreams, plans for the future, and of course, real investment. Let's not forget the folks who made the investment here. There is private money, there is federal money, and there is state money. It's not spending, it's investment. It's investment in those hopes and dreams of young people who will live here, whose futures will be better because they grew up here. Unlike Father Panic Village, which killed their hopes and dreams, this place will support them, foster, and enable them to rise even higher. So I want to thank all who are involved here, the federal government that made available $20 million through block grants, tax credits, and other methods, but most especially the McClutchy and the Richmond families who worked so hard to make this possible. I think that the key difference between Father Panic and this project is not only the concept, but the people who invested of themselves as well as their funds to make it possible. Because this housing is smart housing. It's smart beyond the bricks and mortar. It's smart in its investment in the future of people. Thank you to John and Todd and all who are here who worked so hard on it, folks from organized labor, the folks from the state, and the folks from the private enterprise who made it possible. Thank you.
As the senator said, this has been an effort with a team, and that team consists of, as I said earlier, not only our team as developers, and Viking Construction as a contractor, but of the city, of the Residents Association at Marina Village, of HUD, of CHFA, of DOH, and that support was helped a lot by Senator Blumenthal and Congressman Hines. Congressman Hines, who's a veteran of the housing industry, knows it very well, understands the true value of a development like this. I'd like to have him come up and say a few words to you.
Thank you, John. I know we've got 9 or so speakers on the agenda. I've been doing this long enough to know that in that situation, it's not eloquence that distinguishes you, but brevity. So I've got just a couple of quick points to make. Number one, I really want to reiterate the thanks to the many people who have made this happen and who will make this happen. The Senator mentioned many of them, but at the top of the list, of course, is the McClutchy business, which has really transformed an awful lot of our communities around Fairfield County. The Housing Authority here in Bridgeport, of course, we've got representatives, the financing arms, HUD, thank you for being here, CHAFA. There's almost $20 million of federal money going into this operation, as well as substantial state of Connecticut money. The people who will build this. Most importantly, by the way, the residents. And I want to single out Denise Taylor-Moy, who's here. Denise, where are you? Big round of applause for Denise. All too often in this kind of transformation, the last people, rather than the first people who are consulted, are actually the residents who in many cases have been in places like this for generations. And Denise has made sure that that would not be the case here in Bridgeport and has provided just tremendous leadership. Thank you to all involved. John and I had more than a few 10 p.m. Calls because these projects are never easy. There's always something, but we're here to celebrate the fact that we are now moving forward. I also want to just make the quick point, I alluded to this before, there is a poisonous view in American politics that government is the problem. And as I said before, this is a collaboration of substantial federal funds, substantial state funds, and the private sector, demonstrating that when you get those three entities or when you get government working well, you can transform lives for people in places like Bridgeport, and this is something we should all bear in mind. Finally, John alluded to the fact that I did spend years thinking about and working on how to create communities, sustainable communities that give everybody in those communities the best opportunity to succeed. And we've learned a lot in a couple of generations. We're standing here on the site of Panic Village, which in 1940 was state-of-the-art, but subsequently we learned that that's not actually how you give people opportunity. We have come to learn that to really provide people with opportunity, you create mixed income communities, close to retail, close to transportation, and close to jobs. And this project really embodies that. Thanks to the leadership of our mayor, we will someday see a train station here which will give people who live in this area access to jobs, not just here in Bridgeport, but throughout the state of Connecticut and even down into New York. And of course, we're seeing the revitalization, again, thanks to the mayor's leadership at Steel Point and elsewhere on East Main Street. We will come back here in 5 to 10 years, and we will see a very different community that is providing the residents of that community, so ably led by Denise, with the kind of opportunity that we, of course, call the American dream, and that we believe should be available to everybody. So thank you. Everybody standing here had a role in making that happen, and I'm just grateful that we're standing here, and look forward to standing here in 5 years and seeing a vibrant community providing opportunity to all of its members. Thank you.
As the Congressman said, that the team goes on, and it's certainly a major component of that team is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I'd like to ask Suzanne Piacenti to come up and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. To echo Congressman Hines, really there's not much more I can say at this point. From bad can come good. Father Panic, its time has come and gone. Marina Village, its time has come and gone. Hurricane Sandy was devastating to Bridgeport. And through those bad situations has come a good day for Bridgeport, the creation of new housing. HUD is pleased to have contributed through its partners, DOH, disaster money, through the Housing Authority, its partners there, project-based vouchers, through the City of Bridgeport, home money and disaster money for infrastructure. We are so pleased for the residents to be here. I want to put a little shout out to my team, Jennifer Gottlieb, our Director of Public Housing, Alana Cable and Kevin O'Neill, our Community Planning and Development staff, who work so tirelessly in the home and disaster money. The residents, the citizens of Bridgeport, just congratulations. We are pleased to be your partner and pleased to be here today.
And we've heard from our federal partners, and now I'd like to hear from our state partners. And First among those is the Department of Housing for the state of Connecticut, represented today by Nick Lundgren. Nick?
Good morning. It's great to be here, and the site looks fantastic. This project represents a major investment by the state and illustrates the reason that the department exists. Building affordable housing that strengthens our cities and towns, our neighborhoods and our streets, our families and individual lives. DOH invested almost $12 million in this project from our CDBG, DR, and home funds. We're grateful for the partnerships we have with the federal government, especially HUD, that help make this funding possible. Crescent Crossing will revitalize the neighborhood, and these new homes, when completed, will provide quality, affordable housing for low and moderate households. Together, we're creating 93 new rental units, 33 of which will be affordable for low-income households. Spread out over 8 buildings with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, this site showcases the kind of mixed income and inclusive developments we strive to create at DOH. With the proximity to local bus routes, schools, the proposed Barnum train station, Crescent Crossing will enable residents to flourish here in Connecticut's largest city. Thanks to Governor Malloy's commitment to preserving and creating new units of affordable housing, we're making incredible progress. Just a snapshot of what we've been able to do in the last 5 years. Since 2011, together with CHFA, the state has completed approximately 7,000 affordable units. We have another 2,500 affordable units under construction, and we've committed funding for another 5,200 units in the same time frame. The state has invested almost $1 billion in affordable housing in cities and towns across the state. In Bridgeport alone, DOH has committed over $95 million for housing projects, which represents over 1,500 new or rehab affordable units. These strategic investments are good for all Connecticut residents, good for the economy, good for jobs, and good for local businesses. And it's not just a positive economic impact we're making. As the governor has said in the past, it's the morally right thing to do. There's almost nothing more fundamental than a safe, comfortable place to call home. Our investments in affordable housing are also contributing to the decline in homelessness in Connecticut. I'm proud that in Connecticut, we've built a new system that's working. Thanks to the collaboration we have with our local, state, and federal partners, we're not only the first and only state in the United States to have ended chronic homelessness among veterans, but we're also on track to end veteran homelessness entirely by the end of the calendar year. We're also on track, We're also on track to end all chronic homelessness in Connecticut by the end of next year. And we have our sights on ending family homelessness and all homelessness soon after that. Think about that. The end of homelessness in Connecticut. It's possible and it's within our grasp. We have great momentum and great partnerships to sustain that momentum. But of course, we need the units. And that's why new construction like this is so critically important. Commissioner Klein and I are fortunate to have a group of hardworking and dedicated staff members at DOH. We like to say that we're the little agency that can. With me today is Mia Dallaire, who heads up our Sandy Disaster Relief Unit, and Colette Slover and Liz Swenson, the project managers who worked on the project financing. Without a team like this, we couldn't have done our part to make this vision a reality. We have, of course, more work to do, but what we can say today is that today we're building a Connecticut where everyone will have a decent and safe place to live. Thank you and congratulations.
We're very lucky in Connecticut to have two state housing agencies that do a great job for us. DOH you just heard from, and the quasi-public Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Its new president is here today to join us. I'd like to invite Carl Koduff to come up.
Thank you for inviting the Connecticut Finance Authority to come to be part of today's groundbreaking. When you look around the state and you see the new sustainable model of affordable housing, you can see how it's transformed not only neighborhoods, but people's lives. Today with Crescent Crossings, a new phase begins, breaking ground on apartments that will continue the transformation of Bridgeport. These homes will become a place where families will build their lives, send their children to new schools, and build and celebrate their milestones. With supportive services with those who need a hand, plus easy access to mass transit services and shopping, Crescent Crossings will soon become a thriving, vital community. It represents a significant investment of state, federal dollars and the greater revitalization plans for Bridgeport while addressing a critical need for affordable housing. But we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for three things. First, the governor of the state of Connecticut, Governor Malloy, and his commitment for affordable housing and the tremendous numbers that we just heard from the Department of Housing for the progress that's been made since 2011. Second, projects like this don't happen in isolation. It takes a public-private partnership to have a project like this happen. I know from personal experience in another community, the quality of what JHM can build and the way it will transform this site and its part in the city of Bridgeport. Other partners include the Bridgeport Community Revitalization Associates, working with Cross Key Architects, Viking Construction, City Community Capital, the City of Bridgeport, Park City Communities, CHFA, the Department of Housing, and the Richmond Group as the tax credit syndicator. Which brings me to the third critical piece of what makes today happen, the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. CHFA administers the tax credits, and in this phase of Crescent Crossings, there's more than $13 million in debt proceeds from the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, as well as another $4 million from CHFA. Many of the affordable housing development units built in the last 10 years would not have happened if it were not for the Low-Income Housing Tax Program. While we're in Congressman Himes' district, I'd like to point out that he's been one of the strongest supporters of the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, and we thank him for being a champion for affordable housing. Taking the lead from the Congressman, keep it brief. Thank you very much.
As we wend our way through our partners, clearly one of the most important pieces is the private sector capital that comes into this. And as Carl just said, the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program has provided a vehicle by which we can go out and raise private capital. And I'd like to have our finance partner come up, Bill Yates from Citibank, to speak about their involvement in Crescent Crossings.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to be here with you today to celebrate as JHM Group of Companies in Richmond break ground on the first phase of Crescent Crossings. On behalf of my colleagues at Citi, I want to share with you how proud we are to be helping finance this unique affordable housing initiative. Citi Community Capital is Citigroup's community development, lending, and investing team. We provide capital for affordable housing and community development projects across the country, helping individuals and families access homes with affordable rents and revitalizing communities that have gone underserved. Citi's role is to make available a $16 million tax-exempt construction loan for Crescent Crossings. We are also an investor in a Richmond Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Fund that is providing $13 million in equity for this project. Financing and developing affordable housing tends to be a very complex process and one that requires significant coordination and dedication. JHM and Richmond both worked tirelessly to bring the project to the closing table, overcoming a number of challenges that may well have held others back. So too did our public agency partners. The Housing Authority of the City of Bridgeport, which is providing the land for the project, and the City of Bridgeport, which has made available home funds for the project, both are playing very crucial roles. The Connecticut Department of Housing brought nearly $12 million in subordinate lending to the table. And I want to thank Commissioner Klein and Deputy Commissioner Nick Lundgren for their dedicated staff for everything that they did as part of this effort. The Connecticut Housing Finance Authority is also playing a very crucial role, both as tax-exempt lender to the project as well as provider of a subordinate permanent loan. Citi has had a long-standing partnership with CHFA, having served as senior managing bond underwriter for the issuer since 2002, as well as lender, investor, and bond purchaser on numerous CHFA-sponsored CRA projects. I would like to thank Carl Kildruff, CHFA's executive director, as well as Hazim Taib, CHFA's vice president for finance, who also worked very closely with us in implementing an innovative loan structure for this effort. Finally, I'd like to thank and congratulate John McClutchy, Todd McClutchy from the JHM group of companies, and Richard Richmond from the Richmond Group, and the co-developers, of this exciting project. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And Bill brings up a good point. All this doesn't happen without coordination. And the person who's been responsible for coordinating all of this is Todd McClutchy. Todd has been responsible for managing this team, bringing all these pieces together, making sure all the parts come together. And it's not always easy to bring these pieces together. They don't always fit exactly the way you would like, so it takes a lot of time and patience to sit and figure that out. Todd, along with Dan Montanaro, have managed this process, I think, in a way that's going to make us all proud of what the final product will be when it's done. That being said, without the Bridgeport Housing Authority, this wouldn't be possible. Bridgeport Housing Authority is our partner of JHM and Richmond in this development. And the Housing Authority has, as other housing authorities are throughout the country, have suffered from a lack of resources for a long time. And the Housing Authority in Bridgeport has been prescient enough to reach out to the private sector and find a private sector partner that can help them leverage their resources and make this come to fruition for the people of the city of Bridgeport. I'd like to have Lee Byers come up and say a few words. I'd also like to thank the commissioners of the Housing Authority, and I realize that Shantae Hanks and Reverend Stack are here. If you would give them acknowledgement, I'd appreciate it.
This is truly an exciting time for the Housing Authority of Bridgeport. There's so many people to thank. You know, we can't get here without a lot of help. Senator Blumenthal, Senator Murphy, Congressman Ryan, state legislator, Department of Housing. The list is so long. Citibank. This public-private investment is going to allow us to provide a commitment, a promise that we made to the Father Panic residents. You know, for me, I'm excited because personally, I have a board of commissioners that have vision. Shantae Hanks, who is here, who's our vice chair, Commissioner Nieves, who's our chairman, Commissioner Stacks, who's here with us today. All of them understand the opportunity we have in Bridgeport. Without the Housing Authority, you will not have development in cities of this nature. And because of lack of funding, the Housing Authority has to look for new ways to develop affordable housing. It's a tremendous urban development opportunity. And what we said is we can make public housing better. With the support of the city, the vision, David Corris in particular, a great visionary, more importantly, the mayor, his vision has allowed us to put together a strategy that will help us not only do the Father Panic, we've got Marina Village that's on the docket. We're looking at other developments within the city, other partners in the city. The local field office, Susan in particular, I thank you for your support. Jennifer Gottlieb's out there somewhere. Without our local field office providing us the type of support we need in order to put these sophisticated plans together, it wouldn't happen. Bob Burcham, who's also been our legal representation, who's helped us put a lot of things together that in a very short period of time. As I look at the future, I recognize with partners like John and Todd McCutchy, we should be able to make major development within this city. And I think that when we're done, everybody will look at it and they'll be proud to see that we're very similar to Stanford and other residents out here with modernized, safe, sanitary, affordable, quality housing. The developments of the future will be much different. You will no longer have the concentrations of projects, crime centers, other types of things. You'll be seeing very small portion, no more than 30% will be low and mixed income, the rest will be mixed finance. very vibrant, very beautiful housing opportunities. I know that a lot of people already spoke. I'm not going to say much more, but I thank Bridgeport for supporting us as we move forward. Thank you.
So, as a last but certainly not least, the most important part of this process, I've been doing this for over 45 years, and we're a for-profit company, but we built this company based on a philosophy of people needing quality, affordable housing. And we focus on that, and we choose our partners very carefully. And we're not always able to choose the resident partners that we would like. We find who is there, and we have been more than impressed with the leadership that we've found at Marina Village, especially as it relates to Denise Taylor Moy. Denise Taylor Moy is also a hospital manager. She runs a children's program. She's involved in every aspect of this. She calls us at Thanksgiving and asks us if we can help find turkeys for her residents to enjoy a Thanksgiving dinner. She calls us at Christmas time to help us find gifts for children that don't otherwise have the ability to get gifts. She calls us when school starts to help us find backpacks and school implements for children to take back to school. She is a true part of this community and someone this community needs to look up to. We appreciate your work with us, Denise. I'd like to have you come and say a few words.
I just want to say good morning, first of all, and thank God that we're all here today to see this and to witness what's going on. It's been great to see that we have all our leadership here, our congressman, our senator, our mayor, of course our mayor, who's been so proactive with helping with this Crescent Crossing piece. But I do want to say, as a resident, what is very important and what is very important to me, as well as I know with my resident, is that now we will be starting a new concept of living. The quality of life also means the quality of housing. Where we raise our children and how we raise our children is very important to us here today in society. Because if we're raising our children around boarded up buildings, infestations, gunfire, violence, and all other stuff that goes along with not having the quality of life, we're losing. So today, this new concept of mixed market, mixed income, low income, affordable housing means a lot. It's a very diverse concept of everyone being able to live together, to enjoy life together, and to want the things in life that we all should have. So partnering here today with everyone, and of course myself, I say congratulations, congratulations, congratulations to all of us who are here today. It's never I can't, it's always I can. It's always a way for something good to happen. This is for the betterment of Bridgeport. This was initiated and implemented by our mayor, Bill Finch, along with the congressman, the senator, our state reps, and of course myself. I am so happy that we have a new concept on life, that we all deserve the quality of life and the quality of housing when we live together. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all at the groundbreaking for the next phase of Crescent Crossings, which should be happening in the next few months, as well as for the ribbon cutting for this, which will take place in about a year. I'd like to see you all there, and I'd like you all to remember that it's the trust that all of these financiers have had in this team, including the administration of this city, that has brought this to fruition. We need to make sure that we keep that trust moving forward. Thank you all.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Park City!
All right.
Want to do it again?
Do it again.
1, 2, 3. Park City!
Okay. Yeah.
Question.
Can everybody just